Allegedly, he's told her that she can't speak in public, which I feel like does check out because I've not seen any clips of her speak.
Oh my God. You need to brace yourself for this one because what went down at the Grammys? Absolutely unreal. We're talking about a red carpet moment so jaw-dropping, so outrageous, that people are still scrambling to make sense of it. And at the center of it all, Kanye West, making his grand return to the Grammys after a decade away. But listen, this wasn't just any comeback. It was an entrance that sent shockwaves through the entire industry. And trust me, what happened between him and his wife, Bianca Censori, has sparked a wildfire of debates that go way beyond just fashion. This was a statement, a spectacle, a moment nobody could ignore. Now, imagine this. The biggest night in music, cameras flashing, all eyes glued to the red carpet. Kanye and Bianca step out, and at first, nothing seems too out of the ordinary. Bianca is draped in an extravagant, oversized fur coat. Classic red carpet glamour, right? But then, boom! She drops that coat, and what's underneath has everyone gasping in disbelief. Bianca was practically bare, a completely sheer dress with absolutely no undergarments. Not a single layer, nothing. The audacity, the boldness, the sheer shock factor. But here's what's really making people talk. While Bianca was nearly exposed, Kanye stood beside her, fully dressed, bundled up, looking as covered and comfortable as ever. And that's where the real controversy begins. This isn't just a one-time fashion statement. There's been a noticeable pattern for months, and it's sparking a lot of discussion. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because Bianca's Grammy appearance wasn't an isolated moment. It's part of an ongoing trend that's raising eyebrows. Since Kanye and Bianca got together, her outfits have become increasingly bold, often challenging conventional fashion norms. Take, for example, her appearance in Paris, where she was seen wearing sheer stockings as pants, an unconventional choice that certainly made a statement. Then there was her look in LA, where she stepped out in a transparent raincoat without any additional layers. Some of her outfit choices have even caused debate about appropriate attire in different settings. One particular moment that caught attention was when she visited a family-friendly restaurant wearing a sheer top without added coverage, sparking discussions on personal expression versus public decorum. Another instance in Beverly Hills saw Kanye adjusting Bianca's outfit in a way that left people wondering about the context of the moment. Then there was her silver bikini look, which was striking in its minimalism, as well as the time she wore a completely sheer bodysuit and had to strategically place her phone for coverage. Each of these moments has contributed to an ongoing conversation about fashion, individuality, and public perception. Now, let's take a closer look at what really happened at the Grammys, because the details surrounding this moment are raising some serious questions. There are conflicting reports about what was said during that now infamous coat removal, and depending on which interpretation you believe, the situation takes on a completely different meaning. According to one lip reader who analyzed the footage, Kanye was seen instructing Bianca to remove her coat and create a moment that would grab attention. However, others claim to have seen something entirely different. Bianca shaking her head in apparent refusal, with Kanye responding that she was the one making a scene. The stark contrast between these interpretations is sparking major discussion and curiosity. Adding another layer to the mystery, sources suggest that Bianca's daring look wasn't just a spontaneous fashion choice. Reports indicate that her outfit was intentionally designed to mirror the artistic aesthetic of Kanye's latest album, Vulture's One, which embraces a similarly minimal and avant-garde style. But what truly caught people's attention? Bianca's demeanor throughout the night. She didn't smile once, not even for the cameras. Meanwhile, Kanye stood beside her, looking completely at ease, even grinning as photographers captured the moment. This contrast didn't go unnoticed, and it left many questioning the dynamic at play. And then, just when people thought the spectacle was over, Kanye and Bianca seemingly disappeared. They weren't spotted inside the ceremony, leading to widespread speculation. Were they uninvited guests? Did they leave on their own? Some even suggested they were asked to leave altogether. Whatever the case, their sudden absence only added to the mystery and fueled even more rumors about the night's events. Sources close to the Grammys later pushed back on the rumors, insisting that Kanye and Bianca simply walked the red carpet and then left. But let's be honest, how many people attend the Grammys just to take photos and leave without stepping inside? Something about this doesn't quite add up. Now, let's talk about the official rules, because there were some clear violations that night. The Grammy Awards have strict guidelines on attire, and after looking into it, the policy is very specific about what is and isn't allowed. According to their rules, certain areas must be adequately covered. Those are their words, not mine, and sheer clothing that reveals too much is strictly prohibited. The policy also explicitly bans exposed undercurves of the chest and excessive skin in the lower region. Based on these guidelines, Bianca's outfit didn't just push boundaries, it directly clashed with the event's dress code. But beyond breaking red carpet rules, there were even discussions about whether this look might have crossed legal lines. In California, indecent exposure laws define the act as intentionally revealing oneself in a way that could be considered offensive or inappropriate in a public setting. While no official complaints were filed, legal experts couldn't help but raise questions about the situation. And just when you think the conversation couldn't get any more complex, there's an even deeper layer to this that's leaving people truly unsettled. Bianca's family is reportedly heartbroken over everything that's unfolding. According to sources close to them, they barely recognize their daughter anymore. It's hard to imagine how painful that must be for them to watch from afar. Her mother, Alexandra, was so concerned that she flew all the way from Australia to Los Angeles, determined to reconnect with Bianca and offer support. Meanwhile, Bianca's father is said to be deeply troubled by the situation. Reports indicate that he is desperate to have a serious conversation with Kanye, one where he can directly ask what his intentions are and why his daughter is being placed in such an uncomfortable spotlight. According to sources, he wants to challenge Kanye with a pointed question. How would you feel if someone put your own daughters, North or Chicago, in this position? Because many believe that if the roles were reversed, Kanye would have a very different perspective. But the situation becomes even more concerning when you consider the recent lawsuit filed by Kanye's former assistant, Lauren Picheta. Her claims paint a troubling picture of what happens behind closed doors. In her lawsuit, she alleges that during her time working for him, while he was already with Bianca, there were multiple incidents that made her uncomfortable. The allegations include inappropriate messages, videos, and comments, with some claims even involving Bianca directly. According to Lauren, one of her responsibilities while working for Kanye was arranging transportation for women to meet with him. And she claims there were some deeply uncomfortable situations involving both Kanye and Bianca. While the full details remain private, the implications alone have raised many concerns. But just when you thought the drama from Grammy night had reached its peak, the after-party took things to an entirely new level. Reports suggest that Kanye and Bianca were seen dancing intimately, with over-the-top displays of affection, while Bianca wore yet another sheer bodysuit. Their public interactions were so bold that attendees couldn't stop talking about it. What's even more concerning is how all of this seems to be part of a larger pattern. Sources close to Bianca say she insists that she's in full control of her choices, but her friends and family reportedly see things very differently. In fact, there are claims that they even attempted an intervention out of concern over what they perceive as Kanye's increasingly dominant influence. Meanwhile, the public's reaction has been anything but subtle. On the red carpet, some onlookers were reportedly laughing, creating what must have been an incredibly uncomfortable moment. And online, the response has been even more intense, with countless people expressing concern for Bianca's well-being. The discussions are growing louder, and one question remains at the center of it all. What's really going on here? One of the most striking aspects of this entire situation is the contrast between how Kanye presents himself and how he presents Bianca. He is always fully covered, dressed in layers, warm and comfortable, while Bianca is often in outfits that leave her exposed, vulnerable, and likely uncomfortable. The dynamic this creates has sparked a wave of concern, and when you factor in everything else, her family's distress, the intervention attempts, the lawsuit allegations, and the increasingly revealing outfits, it becomes clear that this is about far more than just bold fashion choices. For those who see this as nothing more than artistic expression or personal choice, it raises an important question. How would you feel if this were your daughter, sister, or close friend? Because Bianca's family is deeply unsettled by what they're witnessing. When a mother feels compelled to fly across the world to check on her daughter, when a father is desperate to confront her husband out of concern, it says a lot about how serious this situation might be. The Grammy incident was shocking, no doubt, but it feels like just the surface of a much deeper issue. While the headlines focus on fashion and controversy, there are real concerns about what might be happening behind closed doors. At the core of this, we're talking about a woman whose closest loved ones are worried for her well-being. No matter how much Bianca insists that everything is fine, the people who have known her the longest and care for her the most seem to believe otherwise. And that's what makes this entire situation not just headline-worthy, but truly heartbreaking. What makes this situation even more concerning is just how much Bianca has reportedly changed since her relationship with Kanye began. Friends and family remember her as a confident, composed, and highly professional woman with a strong sense of self. The transformation they've witnessed has left them both shocked and deeply worried. As we close out this story, one thing is certain. This Grammy appearance will go down in history, but perhaps not for the reasons Kanye and Bianca had intended. Instead of being seen as a bold, artistic statement, it's sparking a much deeper conversation about control, identity, and personal agency. The lingering questions remain. Is Bianca truly comfortable with all of this? Is she making these choices freely? Or is there something more concerning happening behind the scenes? Because sometimes, what appears to be just another headline-making fashion moment could be a silent cry for help. And that thought alone is unsettling. So now, I turn it over to you. What do you think? Is this a case of personal freedom and artistic expression? Or are we watching something far more complicated unfold before our eyes? Because I have to be honest, something about this situation just doesn't sit right. And from the conversations happening everywhere, I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. Let's keep this discussion going in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this story as eye-opening as I did. And of course, stay tuned for the next one, because you know there's always more to uncover. See you next time.